can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet.
Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
How are we doing out there tonight all across this great land and around the world? It's that time. It's time once again for the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host and partner in crime, Joe Hakos from Trial Report. We're glad you're with us tonight. It's heating up. We're getting ready for the debates here. I'm not sure if the second tier has already started, perhaps. I'm not really sure, but let me bring Joe in here. I might as well get him involved right off the top here. How are you doing today, Joe?
Oh, hey, John, I'm doing great. Hey, first off, John, I want to bring something up that not a lot of people probably hearing about today because of all the noise that's going on about the silly debate. I want to take people back 30 years today. Shortly, January 28, 1986, 73 seconds into its flight, the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up and disintegrated and killed all 7 of the crew on board. So it'd just be nice to kind of keep that in mind and remember those folks today. 30 years ago today, it's we don't hear a lot about this kind of thing because, well, it's just not news anymore. So. Yeah, just point that out. Now the debates. Let's see. The second debate comes on at 8 my time, so that'd be 9 Eastern. So the other one, they got an hour in between them. So it's going to come on in about an hour, I think. Yeah,
we'll be. The second tier, yeah, okay. The main show, the
one with
show.
4 people on instead of the other one, and it has everybody else on it, which is just like. Okay, why are we even bothering?
Yeah, it's like watching the local boxer from the YMCA before Manny Pacquiao comes on, that kind of thing. And as far as the challenge goes, that's one of those events that you remember what you were doing when you saw it. I remember it like it was yesterday what I was doing. At that time I had a cleaning business. And we had turned on the TV in one of the houses we were cleaning because I just kind of turned the TV on and just, when you're in somebody else's house and it's empty, sometimes it's just kind of a spooky feeling. So you put the TV on and put some noise out there so it doesn't feel quite as creepy. I remember my wife at that time coming into the other room and she said, there's something going on the TV there, and it looks weird. And I went out, and about that time, they were showing the explosion and everything. And I remember first wondering, what is this about? It was surreal. It was like you're watching this thing disintegrate, and I'm going, is that really happening? Is this supposed to look like that? I guess that was my first, is it supposed to look like that? And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, oh my God, the thing blew up. That kind of thing. It's one of those things that you do remember what you were doing when it happened. Just like Kennedy's assassination. I was in 4th grade, and I remember exactly what I was doing when they came into the classroom and they hustled us all into the cafeteria and put one TV in front of everybody to so that we could watch what was going on. So yeah, it was a shame, and I think that's probably was the beginning of the end of the shuttle program. Actually, they delayed it for a number of years, but
actually, it's the beginning and end of the NASA space program. manned space program in general, actually, when you get right down to it.
Yeah, the beginning of the transition from space exploration to climate change domination. That's really what they are today. So anyway, we are going to, once again, Joe and I were talking before the show. There's a part of me that really doesn't like doing this, that talking about the effect of Trump on this election cycle, because even now, he's controlling the narrative. And we are, to a certain degree, willingly and knowingly conceding to that fact. But there is an element to this that just will not go away in my mind, and that is the blind loyalty that a man like this is getting from people who I know have called themselves conservatives, and in every other election cycle, we've been on the same page. And I put something out there on Facebook today that ignited quite a testy thread throughout the day. I put it out there this morning, and there's still people posting on it as we came on the air today. And it really demonstrates and illustrates exactly what we've been saying about this blind loyalty. And we're going to kind of put some things together for you today, so that if those of you listening to this show probably don't fall into this category. But the point being is that we have a whole lot of people on our side of the aisle who say they're on our side of the aisle, who would sit on our side of the aisle in a if they had to choose between sitting with us and sitting with Clinton or something like that, who have just completely lost all sense of reason. And I'm not saying, if you want to support Trump, that's your you can do that. You can do that. What's irking me is you're supporting this man and telling me you're a conservative. That's what's irking me. At least admit that you're not a conservative, for crying out loud, because you can't be. That's like a Christian telling me that they believe in abortion or same-sex marriage. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible.
That's Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, yeah. The Nancy Pelosi's out there. The Hillary Clintons. I'm a Methodist. Nancy Pelosi. Yes, I'm a staunch Catholic. And yet you'll go not only against the doctrine of your church, but the very Bible that you say is your favorite word. Remember, Nancy Pelosi, my favorite word is the word.
It's the word.
Okay. And we have to pass policies. We have to shape our government to represent the word. Oh, by the way, if you want to kill your kid, that's okay.
Hey, word, John, word, man.
So that's what's bothering me. It's not whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's the answer to everything that's wrong with the country, whether you like his business experience or whatever your reasons for liking this guy, because he's an obstinate ass. Hey, I'm an obstinate ass. That's no problem. But to tell me that you're a conservative and that you support Trump and you believe Trump is going to do the right thing and make this nation great again, I have an issue with that. And I can't remain silent on it. So we're gonna discuss it briefly today. We're not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it.
We got to go to a break.
Yeah, we got. Oh, is it break time already? Oh, geez. And I'm just getting wound up here.
I know, that's why I wanted to stop you.
Yeah. We're gonna go to a break. When we come back, we'll get into, because we have some other stuff that we're gonna. We got some real news that we're gonna talk about today, worth talking about. But I do want to cover this because I'm gonna do some scolding. I'm gonna do a little mini white man rant. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back. You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washing washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos from Dryer Report. And let's kick off. Well, just before we kick off here, just let me just fill you in on what we got planned today. It's not all going to be about Trump, in spite of what Trump is trying to make it all about him, but we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about that, but we got some things going on. We're going to talk about the Hillary Sanders contest a little bit, because there's something in there that I want you to see in relation to what I'm going to say about Trump. And we'll talk about that briefly. But then we're going to get back into our discussion about Planned Parenthood that we started yesterday, because that's one of these things that really need to be taken apart and analyzed for what it is, the hoax that it is becoming, and again, the politicizing behind it. And then if we have some time, we're going to talk briefly or try to talk briefly about what's going on up in Oregon, although I'm hesitant to get too deep into that because I'm still trying to sort out truth and fact from fiction kind of thing right now. So we're still looking into that. I'm not just going to jump out there and just say, oh, yeah, the government wants to kill everybody. And I'm not going to say, the Patriots were just lying there minding their own business. It could be any mix of the two, and probably is. So but we may touch on it briefly. Karen Sigmund from Rage Against the Media will also be with us in the second hour. She just checked in with me. So
Karen's going to be here?
Yeah, she's going to be here today. So,
well, there goes the neighborhood.
What's that?
There goes their neighborhood. No, I'm just kidding, real honest.
Anywho, so let's get into this thing. I mentioned briefly yesterday at the beginning of the show. In fact, I spent actually more time on it yesterday than I really wanted to, but it's just the way it went. Trump, I guess, as far as I know right now, I haven't heard anything different, is not going to participate in the debate tonight. A lot has been said about it from all across the media, from voters, from talking heads, however you want to label people. And I do want to say this. There's a lot of people saying, okay, well, Trump's doing the wrong thing. A lot of people saying Fox did the wrong thing, is doing the wrong thing, blah, 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 back and forth. We won't really know who made the wise decision here until after the debate is over.
Well, we won't know actually until Tuesday morning.
Yeah, tomorrow, sometime tomorrow.
After the caucuses on Monday, we won't know.
Yeah, the preliminary indicator will be what the ratings are. How many, the Republican debates have been breaking records in terms of the number of people tuning in to listen.
No, John, we will know after Monday's caucuses are done. That's when you'll know, was this a good move or a bad move?
I understand that. I'm saying I'm looking
the ratings. Who gives a crap about ratings? The only people give a crap about the ratings are Fox.
Well, I think there's some validity to the ratings in terms of how many people are going to tune in and listen, as to how many people are buying into the narrative and how many people are not. That is, it's just, I don't think it's going to determine the outcome in Iowa. That is, Joe, as you just said. That we'll know that after the polls close or the precincts closed and everything is totaled up, and we'll know, okay, well, who's the winner here? Flat, cut and dry. But I think the fact that we've had record-breaking number of viewers listening to the Republican debates, and we've been talking, or I've been talking, we have been talking about this idea of, or mentioning the fact that there are indicators out there that a lot of people are saying they're going to vote because they believe that Trump represents what they believe. Okay, now, or he's voicing what they're feeling. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, okay.
And so Trump's assertion is what? If I'm not at the debates, then Fox is going to lose all this advertising revenue and blah, 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 blah. And
Can you say that again?
So I'm in that regard.
Can you say that again?
Trump has already said if he's not there, Fox News is going to lose all their viewers and therefore their advertising revenue.
Which is very telling. If I'm not there, then they're going to suck.
Right, because he's claiming, Trump has been claiming from the get-go, he's the show.
Yeah, so everything's all about Donald Trump.
Okay, and that's true. And that's true. He thinks it's all about him. My point being, if the numbers stay the same, or perhaps more people tune in because they're saying, oh, yeah, we don't have to listen to the blowhard. Maybe they'll give more time to the other candidates. Whatever those numbers indicate will indicate whether or not, as far as the electorate, do they see Trump as the show? Will his claim be validated, or will it not be valid? Okay,
I want you to know something here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this real quick.
Okay. So that's all I'm saying about the debate tonight. The numbers will tell us whether Trump if there's any validity to Trump's claim that this whole election is about him. Okay. That's really all I'm saying.
So here's what the Donald Trump leadership has brought out. Donald Trump leadership has asked that people boycott the Fox debate.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They're out there actively saying boycott it because it's all about Donald.
Right. So we'll see. We're going to see if that holds water. That's what I'm saying here. It's not going to determine.
But they also say in the same breath,
yeah.
And that's hard for me to believe, John, that Iowa is the Trump campaign's number one priority. He won't go to a debate in Iowa, and he's saying don't even bother to watch it, but Iowa is still their number one priority.
Right. So that's the only point I'm making here. We're gonna the number of people that watch the debate or don't watch the debate will validate or invalidate Trump's claim that he's the show. That's what I'm getting at. In terms of who's going to win the Iowa caucus right now, I don't have a clue. I don't think Trump has the numbers he says he has. In Iowa, as we pointed out a couple times this week, Iowa has not been the one that determines who the president has been anyway. So
last time, the declared winner was Romney, and then a few days later, it was Santorum.
Yeah, and going into the caucus, I think Santorum was like in single digits.
Yeah, he was like, no one expected that.
Yeah. He was down in the Lindsey Graham category, and walked away.
No. Let's come now. I'm not going to let you do that, Rick Santorum. Rick Santorum is a good and decent individual. Lindsey Graham is a slimy piece of what that should not even be allowed to be.
Well, I agree. I'm only talking about the numbers. Talking about that. I think Santorum had like
I can't let you do that to Rick Santorum. Yeah. Sorry, he's a good guy.
I wouldn't. Santorum as president would not bother me in the least.
No, it wouldn't me either.
No,
but he's a good and decent man.
Yeah,
Lindsey Graham is far from that. Let's put it this way. No offense, you lawyers out there, but he's a lawyer.
Yeah, and he's not even a good one. He's not even a lawyer that's even practiced law, is he? I don't think the guy ever really practiced law.
When he was on, doing his active quote unquote.
He's like Barack Obama. He went out and studied law so he could get into community organizing, that kind of thing. So, no, I wasn't making it. I wasn't trying to reflect on his.
I know, but I wasn't going to let our listeners.
I understand. I wasn't trying to reflect on his character. I'll be honest with you. Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee, or Rick Santorum, any one of those three, I'd be happy. I could deal with any of those, because I think all three of them are decent people and they're true to their beliefs.
Let's not forget Mr. Carson either.
Who?
Mr. Carson, the guy that's asleep at the wheel, as you said. But he's still a good and decent man.
I have issues with his ability to lead.
I understand, but he's still a good guy. He's still a good guy, John.
Oh, yeah. He's a very decent human being. Very, very good man. That's not what I'm rating or basing my contentions on here. I'm talking about having them in the White House. I'd feel very uncomfortable with Ben Carson in the White House, only because I think he would be in over his head. Not that he's not a good human being.
Yeah, okay, I get you.
That's my thing there. So anyway, so we'll find out. We'll find out after tonight whether Trump's...
But that's not getting us onto the topic at hand about these people that are blindly following Donald Trump, no matter what he says or does.
Yeah, now here we are. Here's the point I want to make. I'm looking at an article that came out from The Wrap today, and it is headed, 34 Donald Trump supporters tweeted the C word at Megyn Kelly since yesterday. Okay, now apparently the Trump supporters are upset because Trump's upset. And so they're out there, with the name calling. Now, I'm gonna just point this out to you because this is really all the only point I really want to make about this is that she was referred to as a bitch 423 times. She was called a bimbo and a whore 404 and 88 times, respectively. So 404 people said she was a bimbo. 88 seemed to understand or know her sex life. There was also words used like hooker, slut, and skank. Now, what I'm getting at here is
very classy stuff. Very, very classy.
Yeah, very classy stuff.
Very, very American of them.
Yeah, and so true, so in line with the conservative thought process. We don't like the lady, so let's call her some really vulgar names. Okay, not we talk about vetting. if you're out there vetting Megyn Kelly's sex life, you've got a problem.
So what we call that Alinsky tactic here, would that be
Exactly.
demonize?
Okay, so here's the deal. Conservatives, remember Ron Paul. We saw the same type of vitriol out there with Ron Paul was running. And I even was in that to some degree. I thought Ron Paul people were not all there. The elevator didn't go to the top floor. But I never told them they shouldn't vote for him. And I never called Ron Paul anything. I never called him any names. I just thought he was a great fiscal conservative and a very bad social conservative. That was my take on Ron Paul. That's my take on Rand Paul, is that he's a very decent fiscal conservative, but when it comes to other issues, foreign policy and social issues, I think he's out to lunch. Okay, does that mean that Rand Paul's an idiot? Far from it. I've mentioned here in the show, I'd like to have him in my Treasury department. I'd let him run the Treasury. This guy's he's a sharp guy.
I'd let him close the Fed.
Okay, so anyway, the point is that when our candidates get attacked, and what we do is we come out with this reasonable response that we need to vet the candidates. We need to know who it is. Isn't that what everybody's been complaining about? Is that Congress needs to have, we need to clean house in Congress. We need to get rid of Obama. Nobody vetted Obama. They just gave him a blank check. He just got in office. He's doing what they want, or what he wants. And second time around, everybody, well, okay, maybe he'll change this time. We'll give him another shot, all this other stuff. But the whole message of the conservative camp in the past has always been, know who you're voting for. Vet the candidate that you're voting for and know who he is or she is, so that you can make an intelligent choice. And most conservatives will say that to you. They say, yeah, that's the way to do things. What happened? Trump steps up to the microphone, his megaphone, and starts yelling and screaming and calling everybody idiots and stupid, and he's the only one that knows what's going on. And all these conservatives who were once in this let's be reasonable camp are now out here tweeting that Megyn Kelly is a bimbo, a whore, a skank, a hooker, and a slut. Or could it be that we've been infiltrated by those on the left who attacked Ron Paul? Could it be? Or could it be a combination of the both?
Or could it be?
I think there's some validity. I think there's some validity to John Gruber's claim that it's the stupidity of the American voter that allows progressives to do what they do. I think there's some validity, and I think we're falling into that camp where we're just as guilty as they are. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Joe. Joe, you got time. We got time, I think, to play your little clip with Trump. We're talking about vetting a candidate. We played this the other day. I want to play it again. Just so that, do you have it?
Let me see.
Well, I can call it up. Let's do this. We'll play it after the break. I got it in my stack here. I just got to call it up, and okay. We'll do that. We'll go to the break right now, and when we come back, we'll play this clip because if you are really a conservative, and if you really adhere to this idea that we need to vet our candidates before we prop them up on the pedestal and worship them, then you really need to know who it is you're dealing with. And this is my issue with Trump. Not that he's not saying the right thing, not that he's unrelenting on it, and that he will not compromise his message. I'm telling you that I don't think his message is true to form as to who he really is. And that's what you need to be paying attention to, because God help us if we get Trump into the White House and he turns out to be like Barack Obama. It would be better probably to have Hillary Clinton in there. At least she is a bimbo. Okay? She wouldn't know what to do. She wouldn't be able to get anything done. Donald Trump has got the ability to flex his muscles just like Barack Obama did and have the Congress put their tails between their legs and give him whatever he wants for fear of making his Twitter account every day. So we're going to talk about that. I'll run a commercial here and we'll come back and I'll queue up the clip that we played the other day on Donald Trump so that you just might hear something through the fog. And it might wake you up a little bit. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back. You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos. And I want to get right into this thing with Trump because I do want to curtail this conversation to a minimum today because there is some real news out there that we want to talk about. I'm going to turn the con over to you, Joe. I'll play the clip. I've got the clip here. I'll cue it up, and then you can do your commentary afterwards, and we'll go from there. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. This is Donald Trump. This is a montage that Joe offered us earlier in the week. Donald Trump stating his position on many of the issues that conservatives like or want or believe, and yet have seemed to just brush aside.
Well, actually, this was on what's his name, the idiot Glenn Beck, and he played this montage. All right, but so what if it came from Glenn Beck? This is Donald Trump voice. This is people talking about Donald Trump. This is all Donald Trump. So this is like, it doesn't matter where it came from. I don't care if you don't like where the library is located, if it's in a good part of town or a bad part of town. It's still the same thing. So,
right. Okay, so here it is. This is the Donald Trump montage, we'll call it.
Yes, we can! 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 Yes, we can!
Everybody's got to be covered. This is an unrepublican thing for me to say.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody.
Well, who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it. The government's going to pay for it.
This tax would raise approximately $5.7 trillion.
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
I hate the concept of guns. I'm not in favor of it.
Why are you joining the Reform Party?
I really believe the Republicans are just too crazy right. I mean, hey, I lived in New York City and Manhattan all my life, okay? So, my views are a little bit different than if I lived in Iowa, perhaps.
Partial birth abortion. Would President Trump ban partial birth abortion?
Well, look, I'm very pro-choice.
But you would not ban it?
No.
Or ban partial birth abortion?
No, I would. I am pro-choice in every respect. This is an unrepublican thing for me to say.
Who do you think would be the best qualified to make a deal with Iran?
Hillary's always surrounded herself with very good people. I think Hillary would do a good job.
Make a deal with Iran.
Well, I think Hillary would do a good job.
Nancy Pelosi, the speaker.
And I'm very impressed by her. I think she's a very impressive person. I like her a lot. She was going to really look to impeach Bush and get him out of office, which personally I think would have been a wonderful thing.
Impeaching him?
So I thought he did a great job tonight. I thought he was strong and smart, and it looks like we have somebody that knows what he's doing. And it's a strong guy who really knows what he wants, and this is what we need.
Hillary's a great friend of mine. Her husband is a great friend of mine. I think Hillary is going to take it, and I think Hillary is very, very capable. I'm very pro-choice, a liberal in health care.
Universal health coverage.
I like universal.
As far as single payer, it works in Canada. It works incredibly well in Scotland.
It just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans.
Donald Trump and I both agree that there ought to be more taxation.
What do you think of eminent domain?
I think it's a wonderful thing. I'll be honest with you.
For people that have been here for years, that have, been hard workers, have good jobs, are supporting a family, it's very, very tough to just say, you have to leave, get out. How do you throw somebody out that's lived in this country for 20 years? You just can't throw everybody out.
Wow.
He was basically a Democrat, and he was supportive of Democrats. He was supportive of a lot of the causes that,
Okay, there you have it. Now, your comments, Joe.
Well, my comments is, when did he have the epiphany that did the 180 on all those? When did that happen? When did he have this epiphany? When did he have this come to Jesus moment that says, you know what? I'm not pro-choice anymore. I'm against that. When did he have this epiphany that said, Hillary Clinton sucks. I think she did a lousy job. When did he have this epiphany that said, no, we should probably not raise taxes on the American working class, the mom and pops of America? When did he have these epiphanies? Just when did that happen?
Well,
for crying out loud, when did it happen that he all of a sudden became this religious zealot that he could go to church a week before the primary and have everybody go, wow, Donna went to church and they talked about humility. Wow.
Well, obviously he had this massive divine revelation shortly after he filed his papers to run.
John, the divine revelation that darn big, we would have all seen it because there'd have been a big, huge light shine upon the world. I'm serious, buddy.
Yeah, I know you're serious. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Oh, I know. But it's just like, come on now. You know, and this thing about what really bothers me about, and we're talking about these people that you can vote for Donald Trump. That's fine. I get that. That's absolutely fantastic. But don't tell me that you're still holding the same positions you held for 6 years. Mm-hmm. Do not tell me. You could go ahead. You could set your values aside and vote for Donald Trump. That's fine. But the thing is you're the one that has changed. Right. I have not changed my positions. I know who I am.
Well,
don't come and tell me that I am something and that I should get on board because this is the conservative now. You're now still this is the way conservatives are now. That is not how conservatives are. Right. When the last time you heard Donald Trump praise the Republican? When was the last time you heard him praise anybody that stands on this stage with him? If he's not afraid to be there, when's the last time he's ever praised? When's the last time? Oh, you know when he puts praise on people? When he's talking about Nancy Pelosi, because he can work deals with her. He can work deals with Chuck Schumer. He can work deals with Harry Reid, but he doesn't have to anymore because, Harry's leaving. He can work all these deals. Isn't that what we said we refused to have happen when in 2010, 2012, 2014, we didn't want to make deals with these people. These people were leading America down the wrong way. Why would we make deals with these people?
Yeah, why are you people out there then ostracizing? Why did John Boehner have to resign? If that's the deal, if we're just here to make deals, Boehner did a good job of making deals with the Democrats.
Yes, make deals with them is what got us where we're at now.
Yeah.
Hello, on the bus, Paul Ryan.
Yeah, for some reason, do you people who support this man believe that the deals he's going to make is going to result in limited government? Is it going to result in more money coming back into our pockets instead of the government tax chest? You know, think about what this guy is saying. See, this is the same thing. This is like after Barack Obama was elected in 2008, and by the time we got through the Obamacare fiasco, I started echoing this across the airways as much as I could. Barack Obama never hid from Americans what he wanted to do.
That's correct.
He never ran away from what he wanted. He wanted fundamental transformation of the United States of America. He wanted that. He said it. He believed it. He said how he was going to do it. Now, the way he actually went about doing it wasn't anything like he said he was going to do it. He was going to unite. He was going to, put everything up there for everybody to see, transparency. I'll listen to anything that anybody's got. We'll come to agreements, this, that, and the other. None of that happened. But the point is, he never shied away from what he wanted, and that was transformation of America. Donald Trump is not shying away from what he wants. He's telling you exactly what he's going to do. He is going to bring in the brand of republicanism that we've been bitching about for the last 8 to 10 years, and that is, I'll make deals. I'll cut deals with people. When you look at his past history, you look at the fact that he has admitted that he made deals with liberals and Democrats for financial gain. He's admitted that. He hasn't shied away from that. He hasn't shied away from the fact that he believes that abortion is okay and that same-sex marriage is fine. I mean, you're talking about a guy that is married to a porn actress, for crying out loud. What does sex have to do with anything in his mind? It's what people do. It's what they are. So all this aside here, all you're hearing is these lines that he recites. We got to build a wall. We got to blow the hell out of everybody. We got to fix Washington. We got to get rid of the idiots. Well, you people are the ones that have elected the idiots. So he's telling you what he's going to have to work around you because you're the one that keeps electing all the people he says have broke Washington. Do you think for 1 minute he's going to step into the halls of Congress and say, hey, guys, the show, here it is. You're all fired. This is the way it's going to go. And they're going to just roll over and say, okay, Mr. Trump, you got the con, man. Here, we'll give you the gavel. You go to work. It isn't going to happen. You think Congress is going to even remotely want to deal with this guy? Maybe the Democrats will. Do you think the Republicans are going to want this?
Well, maybe so. But when he doesn't get his way, what's he going to do? How's he going to tell the CEO of Ford not to build his plant in Mexico. How's he going to make that happen?
Yeah.
I
I get
all
it.
this stuff. It's going to be the same thing that Barack Obama's doing. The executive order route.
Yeah, well, and this is what makes it even worse now. Now you're going to have a guy with the R after his name doing everything that the guy with the D after his name right now is doing. And, yeah, maybe Congress will be a little easier to deal with. They'll make their deals. They'll all make their millions of dollars with their lobbyists and their special interests and everything else. And 4 years from now, you all going to be wanting Kanye West to run for president, for crying out loud.
So, so set aside your values, set aside everything that you were bitching and complaining about and fighting for like 6 years, just so you can have a guy with an R behind his name do it?
Yeah, and so you can...
that makes perfect sense to me. That's a solution that this country needs.
Yeah, what's that? What's that saying? The ability to tell you to go to hell and you thank them for it. You know, that's what we're dealing with here. It's blind. It's just totally blind. This is what's bothering me. And one other real quick comment here before we go to the break here. This is what bothers me. Joe hit on it here. This is the thing that bothers me. These people either were never in the conservative camp to begin with that support this guy, or they don't know what the conservative camp is. And one of the things that has irked me from the get-go is the idea that people like us, hardcore conservatives that have been conservatives for decades, are being painted as the people that have shifted and gone right and we're the extremists. We never moved. It's all you guys that have moved. And that's what you need to see. I don't care if you understand it, but you need to recognize it. You chose to go the other way, not us. We're just telling you, stop the madness. We're just saying, wait a minute, guys. Step back. Take a breath. Look at what's going on, not what you're hearing. What are you seeing? What does history validate? You're not, this idea that all of a sudden Trump is just magically transforming, that's the Coulter theorem. Yeah, let's get enough moderates in office and everybody will transform into conservatives. Ain't going to happen. We got to go to break. When we come back, we'll continue here. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. Welcome back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hickos, my co-host and partner in crime. And we're going to close this up here. I want to close this up with a comment here. One of the things that's going on here is this idea, or what Trump is saying, is that he's going to forego the debate and he's going to go out and raise money for the vets.
that, to try to give that, method to his madness kind of thing. And one of our listeners out there, Roy from Canada, sent me a link here. I'm just going to fill you in here real quick. Apparently, the veterans groups that Donald Trump wants to deal with don't want anything to do with Trump. And this is what I'm getting to when I was talking about, we'll know after tonight whether Trump's message that he's to show is valid or not. See, if this trend is going to go the way I think it's going to go, and that's going to be that Trump is going to have a day of reckoning tomorrow when he wakes up and realizes that he hasn't pissed off that many people yet, and that not that many people really think he's the show enough to forego what's really happening out there. I think it's going to hurt him. I guess let me paraphrase it that way. I don't think it's going to help Trump at all. It may hurt Fox News. So what? I don't care. Fox News is irrelevant also. But
the other thing that's come out is his website for donations to these veterans funnels all the money into the Donald J. Trump Foundation, his personal 501c3 nonprofit organization. And Forbes has reported in October that the Donald J. Trump Foundation barely gave more than $10,000 per year to veterans groups from 2009 to 13. And then Trump's, worth of a few more billion than that. Yeah. Trump's donations to the Clinton Foundation total somewhere between $100,000 and $250,000.
Right.
So thank you, Donald, for supporting the veterans.
Yeah, and we got,
you're
Trump
a conservative, Donald. We know. Thank you for telling us all.
Trump is
you're talking about his muscle. The biggest muscle he has is his damn mouth.
Well, Trump is trying to tout his support for the Wounded Warrior Project, and we've talked about the fact that Wounded Warrior Project is under scrutiny right now because of misuse of funds. Apparently, a lot of their money is going into parties and team-building vacations and stuff like that. Another typical tactic from some of these nonprofits that are out there that exploit not only veterans but other facets of the demographics of America. The black community, for one, is one I think of right off the top of my head. But Paul Reichart, the founder, the CEO of the Iraq and Afghan Veterans of America, has basically said that they will decline any donations from Trump. We need strong policies from candidates and not to be used for political stunts. He also took a shot at Ted Cruz, rightfully so, because Ted Cruz's super PAC said they would donate $1.5 million to veterans if Trump agreed to meet with Cruz in a debate one-on-one. And he comes out and says, if Cruz yanking vets into the nastiness of the presidential fights, that's not what the vets need.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, if folks want to support vets, money doesn't need to be funneled through a political campaign. Just donate it directly to the groups. Two other veteran groups, VoteVets.org, a liberal veterans group, issued that says, don't hide from Megyn Kelly. A liberal veterans group says that we don't want your money either. And John Schultz, an Iraq war veteran and chairman of the Vote Vets, I like the way he put it. Let me put it in language Donald Trump understands. You're a loser.
Well, let me put this out there too, for all you Donald Trump fans, and you want to know how really, really good he is, how he's really going to be good for the conservative message, and how he's going to be really great for America. Harry Reid decided that he is pulling for Donald Trump. He agreeing with the businessman's that they used to work well together. So Harry Reid's for Donald Trump, everybody. So if you love Harry Reid and Donald Trump's your man, go for it. That just says it all. That slimy piece of crap Harry Reid's for Donald Trump. Must be good. Trump. Just sounds like Barack Hussein Obama chants all over again.
Yeah,
wake up, people. Just wake up.
I'm looking forward to Harry Reid's retirement because you'll see the real guy, who this guy really is, come out after he no longer has to walk the halls and do what he does in Congress, which was to lie, cheat, and steal, and smear and slander and everything else that he did. The idea that he would come out and no longer support the Democrat candidate and say, yeah, I'd rather go for Trump. That is telling. Is telling that unless, of course, it's a strategy, but it could be, but it doesn't make any difference. The point is that Trump would allow something like this because we know who Trump is. We know what he represents. And so, it is what it is. You people can vote for whoever you want to vote for. But you're going to be, if Trump pulls this off, and if he wins and ends up in the White House, you're going to wake up on January 22nd, 2017, from the fog of the euphoria, just like the liberals did back in 2008 when Barack Obama took occupancy of the White House. And about 100 days later, you're going to be smacking yourself in the head going, oh my God, what did we do? We have created a monster. And you'll have nobody to blame but yourself. And of course, people like Joe and I will be sitting here just not very happy because we'll have to deal with your mistakes. But we'll be the ones that telling you, this is what we warned you. We warned you about Obama. We're warning you about Trump.
Yeah, that's going to be really satisfying, John. It's what an empty feeling.
No, it's not going to be satisfying, but it will be true.
Not at all. I won't be satisfied. It'll be the same crap I've been putting up for 8 freaking years.
Yeah. So
be like I told you.
There it is, folks.
Great.
Yeah, there it is.
Thanks.
Okay. We're coming up on the end of the hour here, and when we get into the second hour, I want to talk about what's going on in Iowa in terms of the Clinton campaign. We were talking earlier in the week about Hillary Clinton's email situation and how it just keeps snowballing. I mean, every day you wake up and there's something else out there. And we're now at this point where even some of the liberals out there are saying, this looks bad. And when you've got a Secretary of State who we now know was authorizing people on her staff with the inappropriate clearances to take top secret SAP information and declassify it for the purpose of sending it to her, giving them access to information that who knows if even she's supposed to have had that information. I'm not sure. But the point being is that information was filtered its way from a secure server to a non-secure server and had the classifications removed for convenience. And that's her argument now. I'm really sorry I did this. I did it for convenience, and I'm really sorry because it's made such a stink. It's got people so upset over things that don't really even matter. This has become the topic instead of what a great Secretary of State I am or was. No. What a great senator I was, and what a great president I would be. It's all about now about this stupid classification thing that everybody's making a big deal about.
She's not sorry, John. She's even said she's not sorry. She said, "I'm not sorry. I didn't do anything wrong."
Yeah, she's just sorry for the.
She's not sorry one bit. She doesn't think she did anything wrong, John.
Well,
she's not sorry.
No,
you know anything she's sorry about is she's having to spend money, and Bernie Sanders, a 97,000-year-old freaking mummy from the Egyptian pharaohs, is beating her in a campaign.
Well, what she's sorry for is just like her husband. She's sorry she got caught. That's what she's sorry about. That's like, Bill Clinton. Well, I'm sorry what I did. No, you're not sorry what you did. You're sorry you got caught doing it. That's the deal here. But we're going to talk about that because
reaction.
It does play into the bigger narrative that we're talking about in terms of how people, as I said earlier, the John Gruber theorem, that is the stupidity of the American voter that's allowed all this stuff to transpire. And I've got to give this guy credit where credit is due. He may be on to something here. So we're going to talk about that. And, of course, we're going to talk about the situation here with Planned Parenthood, which is just this really gets me. I'm really riled about how this thing is coming down the pipe. Karen Sigmund will be with us in the next hour from Rage Against the Media. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Right now it's time for the Edwards Notebook, pay some bills, and then we will be back shortly. Stay with us.
One of the major roles of government is to protect us from enemies both foreign and domestic. But now we need protection from federal government decisions. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, the Obama administration has positioned itself as a detriment to U.S. sovereignty and the physical safety of we the people. On one hand, despite a preponderance of evidence to the contrary, Obama has blamed gun ownership as a reason why people people ranging from Muslims, illegal immigrants, and street thugs seek to kill or rob unarmed sovereign citizens. The president and other gun grabbers also ignore the fact that very few crimes against humanity are committed by law-abiding gun owners. To add insult to injury, Mr. Obama is trying to close Gitmo and has been releasing Islamic terrorists, most of whom go right back to their murderous ways of blowing up people, beheading others, abusing women and animals, as if that's not enough.
And the nice Muslim and the bad Muslim and the good Muslim and the middle Muslim and the high Muslim and the low Muslim and the Islam. I'm sick of it all!
Obama's fixation on fundamentally changing America with legions of illegal immigrants crossing into our republic poses yet another clear and present danger to America. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Akos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
We're back. Welcome back. We're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. We're glad you took the time to join us. I hope you got something out of that. Once again, I promise you, this is going to be the last time I talk about this in this manner. You know, I gave it way too much time, but I just feel it's worth mentioning. At this point, I guess if you're a Trump supporter, really nothing we're going to say is going to change your mind. What I'm trying to drive at more than anything else is just quit telling people that you know me, okay? quit telling people that you believe what I believe. If you like Trump, fine. Quit calling yourself a conservative. You're not even close. Not even close. Conservatives do not compromise, period. That's it. And end of discussion, okay? So, having said that, I want to move on here. Do you have any parting shots here, Joe, before we move on?
No, I really don't, John. I've had enough of Trump. I mean, the guy made this stupid election all about him.
Yeah.
This is not about him. This election is about, right now it's about the voters in Iowa, and ultimately it's about the voters. This is about America and the American voters and the people of America, not Donald Trump, for crying out loud. And he's made this just about him. Yeah. That's all it is. Everything he says is me, I. It's all about Donald Trump. I was dissed by Fox, or Megyn Kelly said blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, okay, Donald, that's fine. But this is not about you. This is bigger than you, Donald. This is about our nation, for crying out loud. Right. And I'm sick and tired of hearing about Donald Trump.
Right.
He can freaking fall off the earth for all I care. I've had enough. This is the same narcissistic crap we heard from Obama. It's enough already.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I want to turn the tables here. We're going to talk about the Democrat side of this thing for just a moment. And the reason I'm doing that is because there is a common thread here. And the common thread is the rise of populist politics generated by true believers. That's really, if we really wanted to finger something here and just say, what has brought America to this place? What has allowed us to fall into this idea that democracy is better than republicanism? What has allowed people to fall into this mindset or this paradigm that rule by the mob is better than rule by a civil society? And that's really what I'm trying to get across to people, is that we've lost sight of the very fundamentals and principles on which our country was established. And that is moral civil society ruled by moral law, and the only collectivism that is involved in government is the fact that each individual takes responsibility and collectively we maintain order. That's really the only aspect of government where collectivism is really supposed to be playing a part in our government. And that it's each one of us as individuals take on responsibility and accountability for our beliefs and our thoughts and our actions, and we transfer those into the people that we elect. We elect people based on our own individual responsibility and accountability and understanding of what this country is about. And by doing that, we maintain and preserve the republic that maintains a civil society that brings us prosperity and blessings. Now, when we look at the Democrat side of this thing, we see a similar pattern. But of course, we would expect that because we're talking about liberals, we're talking about progressives. But the pattern I'm talking about is the ignorance of the voter.
With both of these candidates, too, both of these Democrat candidates.
Yeah, both of them. It doesn't matter what school of thought you're in, okay? And I'm looking here at an article came out of Reuters by Randall Hill, and it shows some interesting dynamics. Quinnipiac poll. Again, Quinnipiac is not the best poll in the world, but I just want to share with you the numbers here, because the numbers speak to something much the larger collective ideal that we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Gruber theorem, the stupidity of the American voter. And it works on both sides of the aisle. All sides of the aisle at this point. All sides, doesn't matter where you come from.
In fact, I'm beginning to think there's no aisle anymore.
I'm sorry?
I'm beginning to think there's no aisle anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. It's strange. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to we got to run a commercial here. This is our short segment here. We're going to run a commercial. Karen Sigmund should be joining us just momentarily, and we'll introduce these numbers to you when she comes on in the air with us, and we'll get her take on it as well as mine and Joe's. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building.
As much as half.
That's right. General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. Welcome
back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos from Dryer Report. And now we have with us our senior conservative panel member, Karen Sigmund from Rage Against the Media. Right. And it's the only way we can ascertain anything to her in terms of age.
That's not right, John. She's going to hurt you one day.
Nah, I'm mature enough to handle it.
How are you doing tonight, Karen?
I'm not going there.
So how are you doing tonight, Karen?
I'm fabulous, although I do have a little cold, so if I'm coughing and stuff, I absolutely apologize. I just realized before coming on that that might happen. But other than that, I'm terrific. Well, and other than the whole world is falling apart and the Republican race is in utter chaos, and aside from that.
Well, we spent almost the first hour. Unfortunately, we didn't start out that way, but we spent almost the first hour talking about the blind loyalty that Trump has been able to garner over this entire.
And John, you know why we did it for that long? Because it's important. That's why.
No, what I wanted to do was I wanted to take it. Look. Let's expand it a little bit, just collectively a little bit, because we have made the comparisons that what we see going on a lot on the right now is what's been going on the left for quite a while. And what we're looking at now over in the Iowa caucus, for all intents and purposes, depending on what polls you're pulling up here, Bernie Sanders is either leading Hillary Clinton or Hillary has a small lead. She had a very large lead that has virtually evaporated due to her email scandals. But here's the note these are the things I wanted to point out. I wanted to get your take on this, Karen. In the recently released Quinnipiac University poll, Iowa Democrats were polled, and they were polled about the characteristics of their candidates. And Sanders won, and I'm just going to read off the percentages here. Sanders won on shared values. 63% of the people polled believe that Bernie Sanders shared their values. 68% believe that Bernie Sanders cares about them, and 76% believe that he's honest.
That's about the only one I kind of actually fall in with. Yeah, Bernie's honest about what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, we agree that if anything else about Bernie Sanders, he's probably, in some regards, maybe the most honest candidate out there. He doesn't shy away from what he believes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, now let me give the contrasting numbers here. Then I'll.
But hold on, I would believe the other two too.
I'm sorry.
Why don't you? That he has shared values with them? Sure. Give us stuff. We want free stuff. We think people should be able to have free stuff.
Yeah,
why would people agree with that? And what's the other one? Cares about them?
Yeah, and I can understand them thinking that Bernie really cares about him because he wants to give him free stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And take it away from did you read about, I just want to pop this in there, the new Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor?
Yeah.
No.
So
I did not.
So I don't remember what its name is, but the idea is there's a very thin disc of solid chocolate that represents the 1% of us who have everything, and underneath it is just a whole lot of mint chocolate chip, which is somehow meant to represent just sort of everybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay, so we can look at that and say, okay, it's probably pretty accurate as to how Bernie Sanders people see him. Now, these are the numbers on Clinton, and this is where we get into this collective true believerism. Clinton won. 63% of the people out there polled believe that she has strong leadership qualities. 80% believe she has the right experience. And 77% believes that she has the best chance of beating the Republicans. Now,
isn't that just mind-boggling?
I mean, if we just look at this, 63% believe that she's a strong leader. 80% thinks that she has the right experience. And then we've talked about in this show about the guys that go out there on the piers and ask these people, "You love Clinton so much. Tell me what she's done."
Right.
And they can't name anything.
Nothing. Or in what she led, except to cover for her in this email situation, to cover for her with Benghazi. So you know what? I'm rethinking it. I think she's a leader.
Well, here's my point.
Just not to anywhere good. Yes.
Here's my point, and I want to get your comment on this. And I'm being somewhat sarcastic and cynical, but I also think there's a lot of truth to it. That perhaps what we have to acknowledge is that the John Gruber theorem, that the stupidity of the American voter is alive and well in America.
Oh, most certainly.
Okay, so I don't think we can deny that anymore, as painful as it is.
Oh, I would go back further than Gruber. I mean, yes, he was very smart about it, but every time Obama treated us as if we were morons, it was hard to argue. We voted for him twice.
Yeah.
Of course we're morons. Of course we're morons. Anything he suggests, we follow. He's the one who's divided us racially in ways that nobody could have foreseen. Kudos to him. Of course we're stupid. We're stupid. They suggest something, we nod in blind agreement and go about our lives assuming everything that any of the people on the left has said is true. Of course we're stupid. It's horrendous. So yes, Gruber was right.
Yeah. So I think that's our biggest obstacle here. We have met the enemy, and it is us.
Yep.
And
that's been the most depressing thing, I think, about this election cycle.
Yeah, it does. And then we Joe and I were just saying we float these things back and forth sometimes when we're not on the air between us. And Joe brought it up today. I think I've mentioned a couple times before that what we may be dealing with here, with all this stuff that's out there right now, we may actually end up dealing with 2 brokered conventions come June in which the Democrat Party and the Republican Party manipulate and maneuver. They select the candidates because the American voter apparently can't figure it out.
Yep.
And if that's the case, where are we at? Where do we go from there? Crickets.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, Karen, you're speechless for crying out loud.
I know. Well, it's absolutely astonishing. Well, how would I can see the path to a brokered convention on the right, which is if Hillary wins a number of states and then through some miracle as yet hard to fathom is indicted. I know, is as yet hard to fathom. But I was just reading that there is some likelihood that the FBI director, if his report applies the pressure that they believe should be applied to the Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice doesn't act on it, there is a possibility, because he's threatened this before under Bush, and Bush, you can say, caved. Bush adjusted what he was doing. He may resign, and a number of his top people may resign. If we have massive resignations at the FBI because of the Department of Justice becoming such a political organization that it chooses to not act on the FBI's strongest recommendations, in particular as regards our national security, things will happen. I don't know what. I don't know how far it'll go. But it won't just fall on the floor.
Yeah, we were talking about this. The speculation, my speculation is, I don't know how close I concur with what Joe thinks on this, but my speculation is this. We're coming to a place where the intelligence agencies like the FBI and the CIA are going to have to confront this situation with Hillary Clinton in terms of the classified information and everything else. It seems it's more than obvious now that she has broken the law. Now the question is, does she get indicted, or does the FBI at least recommend that she be indicted? See, it doesn't really matter at this point if she is indicted. Obama is pretty much, I think, in the interview that he had last week, kind of cleared her of that. Like, we just think that Hillary Clinton is just great, and Bernie Sanders is great, and of course Hillary Clinton has all the right experience. He echoes the sentiments of the people in Iowa. She has all this experience going for her, and she knows all the policies. These are the things he was saying. She knows everything inside and out. She's got her act together, okay? So I think in some regard, he may have been sending her a message, don't worry about me. The DOJ isn't going to do anything. However, if in the court of public opinion,
right,
the FBI comes out and says, we recommend that she be indicted and be brought up on charges, whether or not the DOJ responds, that could affect her public standing to such a degree that the Democrats have to step in and say, wow, we're going to have to do something here. And that leads to what we were talking about in terms of a brokered convention.
Right. That exactly right. But yeah, I was just at a talk the other day and with a Republican official, and he said, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a noise? And of course, we all know the answer is yes. But his point, I will bring it up in this context. If the FBI recommends that Hillary is indicted and not one news agency chooses to report it, will it make a noise? Because that's the world we're living in right now. And thankfully, we're not dependent on the mainstream press. Thankfully, we have the internet at this point still. Thankfully, we have plenty of other alternative media ready to spread stuff around. But really, and I look through the mainstream media sites every day and see if any of this stuff makes the headlines. Every now and then it flares up and then it dies. And if you ask people in the street, like the guy on the pier, what about Hillary's emails? And I've gone and done this. People either don't know about it, or if they do know about it, they know the media's party line, which is, it doesn't matter, it didn't matter, it had nothing to do with anything. Oh, that's the Republicans. Oh, it's just a political witch hunt, blah, 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 blah.
Right, it's that vast right-wing conspiracy at work.
Exactly.
Right. Now, I was reading an article this morning by Judge Napolitano, and he basically offers up what I believe to be the case here. The FBI almost certainly has to at least recommend that she be indicted. Otherwise, what credibility does the FBI have anymore?
Right. Absolutely right.
If they go along and just say, we're not going to do anything, they've already taken some hits. And right. And as Napolitano says, if that doesn't happen, I'll give you the quote here before we go to our break here. He says, "Can anyone doubt that Clinton has failed to safeguard state secrets? In her name, were Hillary Rodham instead of Hillary Rodham Clinton, she'd have been indicted months ago. What remains of the rule of law in America?" He asked. The FBI will soon tell us. So it's they either recommend that she be indicted, whether she gets indicted or not, they at least have to recommend it, or their credibility is shot.
Exactly, and that's FBI Director Comey, I'm not sure, does feel very, very strongly about the FBI and the law not being made secondary to political interest.
Right. Okay,
so
we got to go to break here. We got to go to break. We're doing an early break here because our Moments of Madness is a little long this time. We'll be back. We want to get into the talk about Planned Parenthood. I want to get your take on what's going on with that. We've been covering that for the last couple of days. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate with Joe Hakos, myself, and Karen Sigmund from Rage Against the Media. We'll be right back. Hey, on Moments of Madness. As we approach the first primary caucuses in February, the current populist tsunami that has given rise and sustenance to the campaigns of potential presidential candidates Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders in this year's general election cycle has the entire political establishment on both sides of Washington, D.C. recklessly panicking to recapture the narrative they've effectively employed in the siege of the American electorate that began in earnest with FDR. It is now more than mere speculation that the populist movement that birthed the Tea Party, and not the partisan ideologies that have determined the outcomes of election cycles past, just might light the fuse that propels Trump and Sanders into the June runoff that will most certainly determine the direction of our nation for decades, perhaps even determine the path of America's ultimate destiny in regard to its survival as a republic, or relegate us to a symbolic placard at the table of European socialist New World Order.
So rattled are the GOP elites and their minions, they have abandoned any past attempts to at least appear civil, plotting instead in an unholy alliance with the media by concocting gotcha moments that turn minor gaffes or circumstances of decades past into a mountain of sin that portrays their opponents as villains while they pretend to chart the high moral ground. Jeb Bush claims to be so taken back by the intensity of the anger of the voters, he is peppering his attacks against Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and even Marco Rubio by trotting out his family like Ward, June, and Wally Cleaver to assure us the beef is actually a good kid. It's that Eddie Haskell character, also known as Donald Trump, that is up to mischief. Blowhard Lindsey Graham, the GOP's bottom-dwelling asterisk candidate, provides perhaps the best reason for adopting Obama's gun safety measures by floating the analogy electing Donald Trump or Ted Cruz is the equivalent of putting a gun to our head. Even conservative banner bearers like Jonah Goldberg at National Review and Thomas Sowell at Town Hall Daily, along with a list of other supposed conservative thinkers, have joined the anti-Trump mantra, agreeing that to elect the likes of Donald Trump and even in some cases Ted Cruz is to kill conservatism as it exists today. Here's the madness. Whereas the Democrat Party's resistance to Sanders is merely show, they will embrace Sanders if they have to. The GOP actually has it right about Trump. Though Trump accurately articulates the tone and frustration of a disenfranchised electorate that resides in both the left and right, the fact he is saying the right thing does not mean he has the right solutions, nor does it mean he means what he says. If we've learned anything from the near 8 years Obama and his alliance with the GOP have conspired to destroy our government, it is politicians say in front of the cameras what we want to hear and do what they want with their pens and phones. It is, however, that acknowledgement that exposes the problem. It's not that the GOP elites have it wrong about Trump. It's that they either haven't figured out or are unwilling to do the right thing the right way to stop him, in the same way they've refused to stop Obama. By that, I mean, if they're so concerned about preserving the conservative brand, why not support the conservatives running? There are a few running, you know. It's understandable why Barbara Bush supports her son. But what credibility does she, her husband, or sons have when she contends things like those displaced by Hurricane Katrina actually benefited from it by getting better housing from government, housing that was paid for on the taxpayer dime? Would not of conservatives suggesting relaxing government regulations and reducing taxes better serve those communities to rebuild on their own? Would not that stance better articulate conservatism? Why didn't her son George do that instead of further enslaving them to government? And who better to respond to another situation like that than someone like Ted Cruz, Rick Santorum, or Mike Huckabee? Lindsey Graham, of course, is his own brand of stupid. But rather than respond in bitterness to an electorate that recognizes he is as irrelevant as he is stupid, why not articulate the message conservatism does not compromise its values in order to gain popularity, but rather stands firm on the premise American exceptionalism is a result of equal opportunity offered and achieved in a civil society through personal responsibility and accountability in spite of obstacles like racism and poverty. Could not Cruz, Santorum, or Huckabee better articulate this message? How about Jonah Goldberg at National Review? Jonah is the Republican token symbol for the GOP, assigned to solicit the Jewish community who presently by and large support leftists at the polls who actually hate Israel in exchange for being left off the left's redistribution rolls. Isn't hatred for Israel representative of Obama's current foreign policy? Why not tout the conservatism of Ted Cruz, Rick Santorum, or Mike Huckabee, all of whom highly respect Benjamin Netanyahu, rather than discount him as a source of the problem in the Middle East? When you consider polls such as Reuters that indicate a vast number of folks who have never voted are saying they will vote for this time for Trump, or those who are returning to the voting booth after a 10-year or more absence because they believe Trump gets them, or the many Democrats who are registering Republicans so they can vote for Trump, that in and of itself explains his popularity. It's not his ideology, it's his voice. Ideology means very little if you believe it is irrelevant in shaping policy. We have very much returned to almost an infant state as a republic, where representation translates to listen to what we are saying more than this is how we want it done or we will revolt. We don't need to pander to demographics created by government for government. We just need one that represents the values of our republic and governs accordingly. Then again, perhaps this is the very problem that faces the GOP and thus their vitriol-fueled allegiance against the populism of Trump. Perhaps it is really their fear of being exposed as non-conservatives should they be forced to govern under the tenure of a true conservative like Ted Cruz. The likes of Mitch McConnell, John McCain, and Lindsey Graham could no longer hide behind their show votes. They would stand exposed in the public square before being exiled to wherever pretenders end up wandering, like Maven R. Johnson with his thermos and velvet-covered chair. Now that's a thought that should motivate any real American to want to vote. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness. Welcome back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakels, my co-host, and Karen Sigmund, one of our panel members here at the Conservative Syndicate. And we're talking about let's see, where did I leave off at here? I got off on a rant there and kind of lost my place.
Where?
Yeah. It happens, you know. It's called age. As my wife refers to them now, senior moments.
Senior moments,
Yeah.
right.
There you go with that senior thing again, John. just kind of pointing it out.
Oh, here it is. We were talking about the situation here with Hillary's emails and stuff like that, but I wanted to get into the Planned Parenthood. We started talking about this in earnest yesterday, and it's one of those topics that you just can't cover in one show with the way this thing is playing out. How much have you been watching this situation down in the Harris County down in Texas, Karen?
You mean how they refused to go after Planned Parenthood, but the people who made the video instead?
Right.
Yeah, isn't that extraordinary?
Well, we were talking about it yesterday. Apparently, the situation is that the Attorney General, or not the attorney, the district attorney down there, determined through a grand jury that Planned Parenthood didn't do anything wrong, because the people that obtained all the video footage of them doing something wrong did it illegally by using falsified driver's license to gain access to Planned Parenthood. The point being is that these activists that were down there trying to do their job, David Daleiden and Sandra Merritt, they knew that Planned Parenthood has a watch list of anti-abortion activists. And so they said, well, if they find our names on the list, we won't be able to get in. So they doctored or obtained driver's licenses with different names. And that is what the district attorney used as a basis for not prosecuting Planned Parenthood. What we were making a big deal about is not that the district attorney used that or even actually is going after the activists, the people that taped this stuff. It's that she exonerated Planned Parenthood of any wrongdoing based on that.
Right.
And that is where the travesty is really at here. If you're going to come out and say, well, you basically entrapped these people by lying about who you were, I could see that argument. And as a district attorney saying, we're not going to press any charges based on that. If you wanted to make that determination, you could. But to just say, not only are we not going to press any charges, we're going to clear Planned Parenthood of any charges.
Right.
That points to political motivation there in terms of what's going on here. So is that what you're hearing, or
and there's a relationship. But there's a Planned Parenthood employee works or board member works in the DA's office.
Yeah, they're one of their prosecutors down there, Lauren Reed. Is actually works with Planned Parenthood. She's a member of the board. She is listed on their 990 tax form as their director, and she is an activist involved with Planned Parenthood. And so
again, this is nothing to do with the law. Yet again, this is nothing to do with reality. Yet again, this is everything to do with political agenda.
Yes, and so what I wanted to float at you
looking at an article from the Clash Daily, Wes Walker, and he lists 3 things that the indictment. He says the indictment should be chilling implications for journalists. These 3 items, and the first one he says is, what does this mean for the future of citizen journalism? Meaning, if you're going to be indicted and found and charged with doing something to go undercover to expose something that's wrong, what does this do? So I want to get your take on that. As somebody who watches the media, how do you see that?
Yeah, well, exactly. It makes citizen journalists, and I would even say other, paid journalists, it puts them at risk. If you're going to play a role to do undercover reporting, now you are vulnerable to indictment. And I think there was another set of undercover boss. I don't know all the details about this, but it's a TV show where the CEO of a company passes him or herself off as a coworker.
Oh, you're talking about undercover boss?
Yes, undercover boss. So are you not allowed to do that either?
Well, I was thinking of something even deeper than that. Channel 4 has...
That's the opposite of deep.
Yeah, when they go online and act like they're kids to get predators, and then they catch these people in the act of trying to meet up with minors, with adolescents, and they do it all undercover. They get
right. Can they not do that anymore?
Well, no, they can't do that. See, what really needs to happen here is the leadership in Texas needs to step up and vacate this, throw it out. This is BS, and they damn well know it, because there's precedent for this to happen, for people to do exactly what these people have been doing. So this is crap. This is a crap fest, politically motivated crap fest out of Houston. So Houston's becoming Texas's San Francisco, shall we say, because it's just a little pocket of liberalism that needs to be squashed.
Right, and actually the fact that it's in Texas is the one thing that gives me hope that it might actually be overturned or vacated. Right? I mean, you would expect this kind of thing in Oregon or California or somewhere in New England. That it's in Texas is a shocker, but it does. I don't know, hopeful, but there is a possibility of the governor doing the right thing by this. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if Abbott does something.
But another good, I don't know. Is any press good press? I don't know. It's hard to say if this will...
if you're a rock star, but hey,
Right. I hope it does keep this issue alive,
tour,
though, and keeps it in the forefront of people's thinking. But again, as with Hillary, as with everything that we talk about, it is up to us. If the FBI doesn't indict, but the media doesn't report it, we absolutely have to. If we're looking for something in the court of public opinion, and the media will do what it can to shut down that court of public opinion, we have to keep it alive.
Oh, absolutely.
Do we about Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
We need to keep those videos going, and how whether or not they were allowed to make them, they made them, and they are true, and they are scathing, and they in themselves are a horrific indictment of what Planned Parenthood does. And they're not disputing that they're factual. They're disputing that they shouldn't have been made.
Well, Joe.
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, not that they were made. They also took and said the people that took the videos were actually trying to buy these body parts, and actually filed charges against them for trying to buy body parts. When the videos showed the exact opposite.
Right.
The only people that were bartering and bargaining were the Planned Parenthood people.
Yep. Horrendous. It's absolutely, the state of this nation just terrifies me. But we've got good people. We've got you. We've got me. So there's 3 of us doing And
there's at least 4 other people listening.
I'm sure that's true. And and all of our friends and lots, you have got great guests, and you know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people. The cadre of people who are desperately concerned is huge. But we have to do more than just passing stuff around on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I'm a little scared of the cadre of people that we know, since some of these people seem to they're really disappointing me lately, because it's like, you believed this just 4 years ago, and now you don't believe this anymore because of somebody you support now, and it's kind of you're scaring me, because have I changed, or have you changed?
Right. You are so right, and that's been one of the biggest dampers on my optimism, is people who I once thought were on my side. I don't know who people are anymore. If they think that now single payer is a good idea, just for example.
Yeah. I think it speaks to a bigger narrative that Joe just mentioned a minute ago. The idea that Houston is becoming like San Francisco out here in California. Think of this. If, there's been a lot of people out there saying that Texas eventually is going to turn blue. When you think about the fact I've been fascinated by the idea you've got people like Ted Cruz sitting in the Senate and people like Barbara Jackson sitting in the House. I mean, you couldn't be more diametrically opposed. And if Texas goes blue over a period of time here, we're lost. I mean, we've already got problems with New York and California. You take the next state that's got the largest population, Texas, and you put them in that blue category. I don't know how anybody on the right is going to get anything done anymore in terms of elections. That's what the kind of stuff that scares me. We got to take a break real quick here, guys, and we'll be back in just a moment with Karen Sigmund and Joe Hakos and myself. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos and Karen Sigmund from Rage Against the Media. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. And we were just discussing this situation here with the grand jury ruling down in Harris County down in Texas, where the activists who obtained the video footage of Planned Parenthood baby harvesting have been indicted or going to be charged with falsifying a government document, while the people that committed the crime, for all intents and purposes, as far as the district attorney is concerned, has been exonerated from any charges, any wrongdoing. Now, we know this is not going to have really too much bearing as to the investigation that's going on by the governor down there, Abbott. But it's interesting, and we were pointing out yesterday the political ties on this. And I have some information here I wanted to share about grand juries, but I'm probably going to do it tomorrow because I don't want to take up too much of the time here with having Karen on the show. I did just want to ask you, Karen, and we don't need to go here. If you don't want to or can't. Are you following this thing up in Oregon at all?
I'm really not, but from what I gather, there seems to have been a cold-blooded murder up there.
Yeah, well, that's what we're hearing, and we were saying before the show. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I'm still trying to sort out the fact from fiction. There's a lot of stuff just floating all over the place. Some of it, I think, are from some people with good intentions but aren't quite right in the head. Some of it, I think, is being filtered through the media. So I'm not really sure what's happening up there. I just thought you might have some idea what's going on. So we'll leave that topic alone for another day.
Right, but it does point to so much of what we think, everything that we've just talked about so far this hour.
Yeah.
We know that things should go one way, and they've been going the opposite way.
Okay, well, let's make it a little bit easier on you because I know you get home from work, you're a little bit fried, what is your take on the debate tonight? Let's do that. We got about 6 minutes left. I think that's about a 6-minute topic. What do you think about what's going to take place at the debate tonight?
Well, I'm hoping, although I don't think so, but I'm hoping that the absence of Mr. Reality TV show guy means that we can actually have a substantive debate about issues. Although, that said, the last debate was outstanding, I thought. that there were excellent questions. There were fantastic answers. We were given insight into what each of the candidates thought, believed about different policy aspects. I'm hoping that we'll get more of that. That I think Trump, he's leading. He's got everything to lose and nothing to gain by showing up to something. Mm-hmm. He sees, what are his metrics of success? What have they always been? They've been ratings, right? What was it he said before the first Fox debate? Look at their numbers. They've never had numbers like this. I bring them big numbers. They ought to be paying me. I'm the one who gets their advertising revenues up, right? To him, that's success.
Yep, there you go. It's all about him.
It's all about him. Yeah. All of it. And so now he wants to show that with his absence, their ratings will hurt. Nothing about the American people, nothing about conveying his vision for the United States of America. I saw briefly last night a number of them being interviewed here and there. I saw Rubio at a town hall. I saw Ben Carson at a town hall. Ben Carson has been involved in politics for even shorter a time than Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been dabbling in politics forever and ever, of course, from the left mostly, but still. And Ben Carson really only became involved, is it 2 years? I don't even think it's 2 years. And listening to that man, this is a guy who has spent every waking hour, or so it seems, learning like crazy about what's going on in the Middle East, about Islam, about what goes on domestically. This man speaks as fluidly as anybody I know, and more fluidly than most, and with more of a knowledge base than most.
Well, one of the things I'm hoping to look forward to, if I can coin the comment made by Chris Matthews the other day, that without Trump, nobody's going to want to listen to a debate between how two Cubans would run America, and I think that would be a great debate. I want to know how. I'm hoping that time is given that we really get some substance. I'd like to see.
Exactly. I hope, and I think now we do have the opportunity to do that. Although he did not really suck the air out of the debate last time. And actually, that may be why he's pouty about this one. Of course, Megyn Kelly, he doesn't want to actually be asked any questions. Why people tout him as... Anyway, enough about Trump. But yes,
thank you.
I think we will have the opportunity to hear some great stuff. And isn't it extraordinary that our two real legitimate front runners are Cuban, are people for whom this is their adoptive country? I think that's outstanding. And they're young. And look at the array of candidates that we have. We've got black and white and men and women, all ages, and look at who they have. Look at who they have.
Yeah,
Two ancient people, not a new thought among them, probably in the last 50 years.
I think that it almost, if logic kicks in here, I think it almost has to be a debate that will center a lot on Rubio and Cruz, because Rubio, for all intents and purposes, is the last resort for the establishment. And
don't keep putting him with establishment.
Well, Trump is the establishment guy.
Trump has become the establishment guy because right. But, I don't even know what establishment is anymore. I think
it's the political class that's in ruin right now who want to maintain that power over people. And that's what that is. So I know that was a mouthful. Sorry. You know what I'm ready for? I'm ready for it to be over.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so ready. I'm beyond ready for it to be over. Beyond. I can't wait till we have our candidate, although of course there's some I would prefer.
I want to see Tuesday. I want to see what Tuesday looks like, and then I'll go on from there. I don't know. I'll slit my wrist or something probably.
So what's your prediction? What are our predictions?
I'm going to be like Mr. T and Rocky. Pain.
Well, I think it's going to be. I'm hoping for a much more substantial debate in terms of actually talking policies and stuff. We'll see. Rand Paul's back in the mix. That could ignite some type of exchange down the line here. I think Jeb Bush is in panic mode, so who knows what he's going to do?
I don't know. He might bring his mama to hold his hand.
Maybe Jeb will have his mom get up there and debate for him. I don't know.
He really seems that his entire being is focused on being angry at Marco for jumping him in line. He just seems like he's just so wrapped up. And I didn't have a problem with Jeb, but he really right.
That's fun. I just see, Mom, that's the guy there.
Yeah. Mom. Exactly. Mommy. He was mean to me. Yep, that's what I see. That's exactly what I see.
Show me where he hurt you, Jebby.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I think it's just so pathetic that Jeb's got to start trotting his family out there, especially Mom,
At some point, how much of this, we always were suspicious that he really did not want to be doing this at all. It took him forever to decide to get in. Mm-hmm. He never seemed to have fire in the belly, just never seemed all that interested. And only now, when Marco's picking up steam and he's not, and that seems to be the entire force of what's driving him.
Yeah.
Nothing else. That's it.
Karen, you're going to have to tell us how to get a hold of you and what you do and all that stuff.
Right now, guys, we're out of time here. I got to give it Karen.
Find us, rageagainstthemedia.org. I have a new Culling the Candidates coming out later today. And find us on Facebook, Rage Against the Media, and we're working on Truth Fest.
All right, thanks so much, dear. And we'll start giving us some feedback what's going on with your next Truth Fest also.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, my dear. Okay, guys, we're done for today. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. Joe's off tomorrow. He's got an event he's got to attend, and I'll be flying solo. I'll have Bob Cardoso from Robert Cardoso Live with us, and we'll continue our discussion. Of course, the debate will take place tonight. I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit tomorrow. So God bless y'all. Thanks for your loyalty, for listening, and in some cases, even putting up with us. We love you, and God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all of our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's the conservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best and uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, signing off until next time, right here on the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.